Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Nehls.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, ladies, for being here. For those watching at home, I want to be clear what this is about. Joe Biden wants to take your guns. He does. He wants to infringe on your Second Amendment rights. He wants to strip you of the ability to protect your family, your community, your country. It's dangerous. It's unconstitutional. And it does nothing to address crime. Criminals will still have guns long after law-abiding citizens don't. I'd like to turn your attention to an incident that happened in June near my district in Houston. Play the clip. This was what Mr. Hunt was referencing. We don't have audio, but you see this knucklehead here, and he's in the gray truck, and he gets up there, and he obviously has a pistol. There's a pregnant woman standing there with her husband. This guy gets a little bit bold. Look at it, he points the gun. He's going to try to rob them. Goes across, he approaches them. Pistol whips the man, the husband, and the woman gets out and she shoots him, pulls out her pistola and shoots him. Not only protecting herself, but protecting her husband, her unborn child. Unfortunately, the suspect was taken to the hospital where he survived. I wish she would have been a better shot. It would have reduced recidivism. Because guys like this get back out on the streets. They get back out on the streets. They'll do the same damn thing. I think you've seen a rise in gun sales because the American people truly understand that they always can't count on the government to protect them. I served in law enforcement for 30 years. I was a sheriff of a very large county. I've been to several homicides. Several of them related to domestic abuse. Several of them where their husbands went out there and just brutally murdered the entire family. There were times I reflect now and I say to myself, maybe I wish that mother, that woman who could have received training and been a responsible gun owner, would have had an opportunity to protect her children and herself from that husband, the boyfriend, and the numerous other women that were just brutally murdered by just criminals. Now, many of these guys may have had some mental health issues. I got it. But they had nothing there to protect themselves. And if they would have had something, such as a firearm, maybe they would be able to talk to us today. Ms. Solomon, as a former lawman, we've carried guns every day. And I can tell you, there's not a law enforcement officer in the country today that wakes up, says, I want to go out and legally kill somebody. What do you think that woman was thinking after she was out there and she points a gun and shoots that guy? I mean, how will that affect her for the rest of her life? I mean, what do you think she's thinking about her mental health? How do you think that will affect her for the rest of her life?
I definitely do believe that she didn't wake up that day and say, I wanted to kill anybody.
Right.
She will feel empowered that she was able to save herself and her husband or whoever that was, her family member. But she will have access to get better and over that and eventually still carry a firearm. She will feel empowered. And I believe she was pregnant. And so it's going to empower her and that child that comes into the world that they're not a victim.
She should be here sharing her story as well one day, talking about how that weapon saved her life. Maybe looking at her training. How did she acquire that? What type of training? And did she become proficient at it? We got a lot of people that want to carry a gun, but they don't go through that training. I would encourage everybody at least get proficient with that firearm so you know how to use it. Ms. Wottrell, you mentioned in your testimony that several major cities who have adopted some of the strictest gun control laws in the country remain unsafe still today. Do you think more gun control laws would have prevented that suspect in the video from illegally obtaining a gun?
No, criminals are going to get a firearm, whether it's against the law or not. They don't care how many laws they break. And when I carry to save a life, my life, not to take a life. Mm-hmm. So when someone is faced with a situation when they have to defend themselves and take a life, I'm sure it's very hard to accept that, but yet they're very happy because they're here to talk about it.
Yes, thank you. And Ms. Glenn, would you agree to, Chicago, some of the strictest gun control laws in the country, they're out there. I mean, red flag laws, can't have a concealed weapon without a permit, background checks, lock and store the guns. I mean, they have the strictest, but yet, they have gun violence up through the moon. There were over 2,800 shootings in Chicago last year, 1,300 in LA, 1,200 in New York. I'm telling you right now, Tommy Turd does not care about gun laws. They're going to have them. It will just affect the law-abiding citizen.
Gentleman's
Thank you. I
time
yield
is expired. You may answer the question if you wish.
I don't have the expertise, and I'm not here on the expertise about gun laws in those cities. What I'm here about is how do we ensure that those that are abusive do not have access to a firearm in which a woman can be killed?
Chair recognizes the gentlelady from Pennsylvania, Ms. Dean.
I thank the chair and the ranking lady. I thank you very